Good morning out there, traders. It is June 25th, 2024. Welcome to the Apteros Daily Market Insight. Let's do our recap, and then we'll update our session plan and levels for today. So early in the session, we pretty much nailed our DMI in terms of targeting, levels, and so forth. We had a bullish scenario here, looking at this bullish line in the sand for that to hold and possibly push up right to our first target and up into our main neutral target there. Doesn't quite make it to the bearish level that we were looking for that full target, that full breakout, but it was, a pretty good move coming out from the open into the session here. But what ended up occurring after that was really interesting. I was mentioning, about this particular neutral reference holding above that, being a continuation opportunity, possibly getting more into this trade, and it sets up right here. So our main, opportunities really with what I was talking about in the DMI came from these lows here and then these lows here to the bullish side of things, right? We were looking for the upside on either one of these inflections. We got really nice turns out of them. We end up getting to this real target area on this move here. We end up getting back to that target area again, and it kind of fails back down. Doesn't really give us any good inflections to continue on as the recency in this, particular narrative started to break down. We came back into our line in the sand area, chopped around a little bit till the end of the day, gave it a little bit of a push until ultimately failing down underneath it, and that was really the story of today. So being bullish was the right analysis for us in our DMI. It just didn't quite release out into the bearish area there. Bulls just didn't have enough energy to really push it through, and eventually that line in the sand fails in this section here, kind of creating a little bit of a turnover on some of our lower time frames. So now taking a look at today, we have a sticky situation today. There is clarity in the market in terms of the bullish ideas, the bearish ideas. The problem is that they are really juxtaposed right up against one another, and they're creating clear dissonance. We have dissonance between a bullish idea that is still valid pretty much through this section here, and then of course we have bearish ideas which have been valid pretty much all through this section, and we're getting some shorter time frame setups to the bearish side now at this area. So if you're wondering why isn't this particular area then bearish at this point, the main reason why is because we are respecting the dissonance in this ES market, considering that we have a clear bullish setup that hasn't shifted yet on one of our time frames. So we're in a spot today where that decision is probably going to be made in this particular trading session. So with that being said, we are essentially a little bit more neutral across the board with where we are currently accepted in price. And the reason why is because that area where there's the dissonance is the highest is literally right here in our main neutral area here, or our main line in the sand for the session. So rather than having a bias on this particular area or this particular level, I downgraded it to neutral because it was a clearly dissonant zone. And that's pretty much it. But from there, we do have scenarios that we can work with. Scenario one being a hold of this neutral area coming down into here for the first target. A continuation trade possible right here if we get back inside and underneath this neutral level here at 05s, with an overall target or destination down into 82s. And that would kind of be the end of the line for what we were planning for the downside here, if that were to occur. If the downside never manifests itself, in other words, we don't really ever see the bears accelerate this market, then the bulls will have control of this neutral zone, and that distance will be playing out to the upside, right? We'll start seeing shifts on the lower time frames to the upside, and that will create good bullish opportunities, in which case this area here would become a little bit more bullish in general, and we'd be looking to the upside here for our first neutral target here as kind of the main area, the main target, and then if we get up above that zone, a continuation trade possible out into the stretch target here at 58s. So that's really the way in which the scenarios kind of line themselves up today. Remember, there is clarity in what's kind of evolving here. The problem is that it's clearly dissonant, right? So we're waiting on acceptance in some changes or shifts to give us a little bit more of an obvious picture. Right now, the market is more aligned for the bears, but the bears just aren't taking control of this particular zone. And this particular zone is going to be kind of the fighting ground for the dissonance to clear up. Like I said, if it clears up to the downside, we have that scenario planned out. If it clears out to the upside, we have that scenario planned out. And we're essentially looking right here at this line in the sand to kind of derive our bias for the day along with the acceptance picture. So trade well out there, mind your risk, and let's have a wonderful trading day.